guys. Hi, can I say hi to your dog?
No, we're in training.
Aw, can our dogs meet?
No,
Oh,
we're in training.
mine's silly.
He
Oh,
is.
training?
Oh yeah.
Wow, he's so good. He doesn't like run up to people?
Well, that's what we're working on today, actually.
Oh
I
my
think he does run up
gosh.
on people. Yes.
Wow, well you seem to be doing really good. He can't take his eyes off you. He's not even running up to my dog?
It's very peaceful to have that decision. Yeah, so he's learning to just stay and follow my direction, and that allows me to choose how we're going to deal with the situation.
This is fascinating. I didn't know you could do that with a dog.
Oh yeah, it's possible. It takes a lot of dedication.
You come around here a lot?
Yeah, just about every day.
First I've ever seen you on the trails. My dog's pretty friendly if you want to pet him.
Okay, I will make it there. Good. This is his first time doing this with me, so
That's
we're
amazing.
really learning. So before I started working on our relationship, aka training with him, he would just leave me or his handler and go up to the thing that approaches the environment. It could be probably a dog, an animal, a person. And that means he just chose how to deal with it, which is leading material. I'm switching the dynamic where he's following and I'm leading. So now when he sees something come into the environment, if he tries to go deal with it, I'll correct as the leader. He'll become a follower. Next time we see something in the environment, he does this, which is just waiting until I say either, okay, go ahead and interact with it, which is probably never gonna happen, right? Or just stay there until, let me do the interacting. If I even choose to, I might choose to just walk on by. And then I'll let you know when it's time for us to move on. So it's not his experience, he's letting me deal with it. No. I bring the sense back. He doesn't know what to do with it. He doesn't even have a concern about it. Good. I think it's more towards the person. He wants to go towards the person maybe more. Good. Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. This is a hierarchy thing, right? So if we're a pack of 2 here, or a pack of 3, or a pack of 4, it's still gonna go like, there's a resource, a potential resource. If you see me as leader, you're gonna allow me to decide how to deal with it. You're gonna allow me first access to it, especially if it's a resource that I can consume and I want it, and we all want it, like food or something. So we've had those disputes. So once he agrees, once he decides to be a follower, there's really, the training's very basic. It's like stay, it's puppy stuff. Come here, right, lay down. It's more of the mentality shift of getting that attitude out of the way where the dog is willing to follow the authority of a human, right? Good. And then they actually see, because we do these experiences, they actually see that that's beneficial. So they start using it on their own. They start staying in that mode and trying to please you instead of trying to demand you around. Good. And then that becomes the new way of life. That becomes the new gear they're kind of in, right? Once they get a set of associations that work and they practice them for a while, they're just going to keep doing them, right? Right now, his are all the wrong responses. Right? If somebody comes to the door, he's going to charge the door. If he's on a leash, he's going to pull, right? But once we change those responses, do it long enough, the dog actually just starts doing it automatically. And then what we're correcting is when the dog starts to maybe push the boundaries of your authority, right? Starts to poke at you a little bit, maybe not listen as fast. You just see, what we boil down to attitude. They're giving you a little bit of stuff. You just correct that, right? You correct that and keep them in their spot in the hierarchy, meaning your dynamic relationship. You're leading, the dog's following. That's the key sauce, right? The training's great. He understands it though. Especially by the time he leaves here, he'll know it. It's not like he doesn't know what you're saying. I'm sure you can feel when the dog gives you attitude because it's frustrating, right? I'm sure you've told him to like knock it off, go lay down, and then he does, and things like this. Those little things are big things in the pack. That's a big strike. That's like, not listening to authority gets corrected. So we got to look at that. That's why he's being so good. It's not because I taught him sit. Okay, good. It's resources. He says he is allowing me to have first access, and I'm saying I appreciate that. Good boy. And here's another thing. If he complains over there, he's a very vocal dog in the past, right? He barks and squeals at his owners to give him things and get him things. If he complains over there, that gets corrected, because then he's complaining about the circumstance that you put him in. If you don't correct that, that's going to become chronic, and that's annoying. That becomes annoying. So it's like, if he were to whine right now, what am I going to do? I'm going to correct him, tell him to quiet. If he whines again, I'm going to correct him firm or quiet. As the days go on, the dog catches themselves, they stop whining. It's
Mhm.
because simply it's not useful anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of whining and I get what I want, whining and I get something I see as an aversive that's effective, like an e-collar correction, and me following through saying, I didn't like that, it's obvious, the dog ditches it. He sits there and he's quiet. You see how many times I'm coming over here and showing him, nice work, dude, nice work. That's the new choice. I'm saying that's what I like. And guess what? That response is what I like in like 99% of life.
Keep other dogs away. That's the leader's job.
Okay, so great, good. He's 5. I'm sure he knows sit. I'm sure he knows down. I'm sure he knows the recall. I'm sure he has an idea that you don't want him to drag you around on the leash. It's more, as everybody knows, and this is a generalization to all dog owners, it's the dog not wanting to be a follower, and you know, the humans not being able to create one. Because what I'm doing here is I'm not saying, could you be a follower, please? I'm doing what a leader would already do. I'm putting him in my pack and then correcting the things that he does that go against the grain of my pack, right? Like, one, not listening. Listening looks like, it's the simplest thing in the world. If I say to do, you do. We say this all the time, it gets so annoying. If I say don't, don't. That's really what it takes to be a follower. The thing is I'm gonna ask you not to do things that you wanna do. And I'm gonna ask you to do things that you don't wanna do. And how do you respond in those situations is what determines how well we're doing in our relationship. Do we have work to do? Because we're gonna go out into these situations and work on our dynamic until the dynamic's right, and then you just feel everything feels right. And we didn't really necessarily teach any more about any of the commands like sit or anything, but they learn to use them as coping skills. So right now sit's valuable because it's keeping them out of trouble. All right, so now I'm gonna ask him, this is another thing he hasn't learned yet. I'm gonna release him, but he's not allowed to go up on you guys. I'm gonna suggest that we go this way. And then we could have one of those moments where he's like, I wanna go that way. And then I say no, and I correct, and then what does he do? Right? And so then what does he do tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
If he still keep testing the boundary, I'm not providing the consequence properly, right? These kind of things, if you do it right, within a few days, you can't get the dog to do the bad thing anymore. We try, and they won't, and then it's like, okay, we can move on, all right? He's 5 though. He's not a year. He's lived half his life or more, like already doing these responses. And he's well aware of the hierarchy. The way he looks at me sometimes, he goes, I didn't know humans knew how to do this conversation. I thought this was just a dog thing. So he's looking at me like, are you a human or dog? You know what I mean? And I'm like, no, there are humans that do this. And he's like, oh, so you can form a hierarchy with me? And I'm like, yes. And here's the thing. It's the opposite position as what you were at home, right? All right. Ben. Come on. Let's go. That's good. You see, he got his choice to make. Good.
He wanted to come over here so bad.
I love that. Yes, but look at his choice. He never stopped and looked back like that. Wow. This is still going. This rep is still going. Good. Wow. Good. This will eventually be a follow, right? Come on, you're doing great. Yes, I love that. Gosh,